sure this side is not too gangly looking. Twist it. You know, if you twist it and the tips of these things, like the copper breaks off, you need to re-strip it and do it again. Because if you try to put it up in here, and then even if you learn it in, you know, if you manage to get away with learning it in, and then you know, later on you could just have a lot of issues. So make sure you cut it, cut it off, re-strip it, so it's a good strong piece of copper. All right, so that's zone number 2. Move on to number 3 now. Make sure that if you are pulling your wires out, your zones out of the terminals, that you put them back exactly where they, you at least put the commons back exactly where they were, because you know, you go through the whole process and, you know, sometimes you'll forget which terminal they were in, and you'll get to the end and wonder why it's not working. And oftentimes it's just because you didn't put it back where it was supposed to be. So I've done that numerous times. It happens all the time. All right, so we got zone 3. Red's gonna go through here. Okay, and I've got my black here. Now, on this panel in particular, this is a Vista 15 panel. In this panel in particular, the terminal marked 13 is a common, and there's 2 commons that were in there. So I'm just going to pull out zone 4 right now. I'll strip this back. Okay, cut off our excess wires. Alright, and then I'm going to take this common right here, put it with zone 3's common. Alright, now let's just say that I pulled those commons out, and for some reason I had no idea where they were supposed to go. If you look at your panel, the diagram here, where it says high, that is the sensor. Where it says low, that is the common. Alright, so we're all the way down here on terminal 13, and that number 13 is a double low, which means it has 2 commons inside of terminal 13. So the common for zone 3 and the common for zone 4 are in the same terminal. Alright, so now we put these back in terminal 13, and the numbers for those are right here below this, and I'll show you guys that here in just a sec. Alright, tighten those down, bring your zone 4 through the hole. Okay, make sure it's not gangly looking again. Put it in there. Alright, so we got 4 so far. Okay, so that's all your doors and windows, right? So your front, back, and garage, and then your front window. So now we're going to move on to the motion, and again, this is a little bit more tricky, you know, especially if you're a new guy that doesn't understand. But so you've got, on a motion detector, you have 4 wires, 4 conductor, okay? You have a black, red, and either a green or a blue, or a white or a yellow, okay? The way that most technicians are going to do this is they're going to make the white or yellow the sensor, okay? So like we ran these red wires down here into this 2 gig take because they are sensors, all right? They are what is making, you know, when the door opens, that's what trips it. That's what these are, okay? These ones up here, the black ones, are your commons, okay? And with a motion detector, you have the red and the black that are actually giving power to the motion detector or the glass break. And then you have a white and a green, okay? So your white is going to be the sensor, okay? The sensor that's gonna go through the hole down to here, okay? The green, the green is going to act like the blacks on the other sensors, okay? It's the common. So we're gonna undo, I'm gonna undo this white one here, and it's common, okay? And I wanna do that because I want to make my sensor wire longer. So I'm just gonna strip it like that. There you go. Sometimes you get away with it pretty easy. Boom. Just like that. All right. Now, before you forget where this one was, take your green, put it back into the common area where the common is where it was. All right, tighten it down. So now you're good. You won't forget where that goes. Now you take your white, which is your sensor. You pass it down here through the hole. Again, don't be a rookie. Make sure it is not gangly looking. And you're gonna put that into zone 5. Okay. All right. So, to kind of show you guys an up-close view of this, let me rotate this. All right, so on the left side of the screen there, you can see your power wire, which is your AC, which would normally be going to this outlet. All right, the next terminal over was actually the positive for the bell circuit, and the next terminal over is the negative. Okay, so that is auxiliary plus and auxiliary minus. All right, so the auxiliary plus is currently giving power to the motion detector. All right, next couple over, so you've got your 4 blacks there. Those are all your commons. And then you've got your green, which is the common for the motion detector. All right. Over here on your 2 gig take so far. Okay, you should see these terminals right here. You've got 4 reds, all in zone 1, 2, 3, and 4. Whoop. In zones 1, 2, 3, and 4, there are terminals 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then the 5th one is the motion detector. All right. All right, perfect. So the last couple things you want to do is you're going to want to get yourself a white piece of wire. You know, make it a good length, enough to reach through this hole here. Like that. Up to your auxiliary plus and minus, okay? So cut yourself a piece, you know, this long, and then you're just gonna strip your wires here. All right, and if you've got a motion detector plus and minus in the auxiliary plus and minus, that's fine. Just loosen your common, put the common in there. Loosen the auxiliary plus, and then tighten it back up. All right, so like that, and then that runs through here. To your 2 gig take, okay, into the first 2 slots of the take. All right, which the left slot is the ground, the right slot is the 12 volt plus, okay? So now what you've got is you've got a successful power supply for your super switch or take, You've got all of your zones ran down to your 2 gig take. You have all the grounds properly grounded, including your motion. And then you've you know, as we explained earlier, you've got the keypad plus and minus that have its own power source that's ran over here to the outlet for its own power supply. Okay, now you can take your battery wires, put them through this hole here. All right. And something I'll go over with you is when you're doing a takeover on your existing alarm system, the order of operations as far as, you know, well, do I plug in the battery first? Do I plug in the power first? Do I plug in the touchscreen power first or the touchscreen battery first? The way that I've always done it and the way it always works just fine and perfectly is I do the battery source. I plug the take into the battery first, okay? Then you're going to take your wires from your existing panel and you're going to plug those onto the back of the take battery wires. All right, so that gives its battery power. Then you're going to plug in your outlet or your transformer, your transformer here to power your panel. Okay, and all at once that's going to power the panel and that's going to power the 2 gig take as well. Okay, you plug in the battery first, because if you do it the other way around, the system automatically registers that there is a low battery. You know, at least in a lot of the experiences that I've had. All right. Another thing, if you already have this in your house, like an alarm company came out, they installed this for you, and it's already said and done. Generally, it's in this box here. But if you need to change the battery, what I would recommend doing is taking out the old battery, unplugging your power supply here, okay? Power down your touchscreen keypad, okay? And you can do that a few ways. One is you can either unplug it here from here and unplug the battery in the back of the touchscreen, or you can unplug the battery in the back of the touchscreen and unscrew the terminal for your positive wire inside the back of the touchscreen keypad. Okay. Now, so you take out the old battery from here, power down your touchscreen, and now you're going to go ahead and you're going to swap the battery. You're going to put the brand new one in, and same order. You're going to do 2 gig take battery wires onto the battery first. Then you're going to do your panel battery wires onto the battery. Then you're going to go over to your touchscreen and you're going to plug in the battery first. Then you're going to power up your touchscreen, okay? And that way the system recognizes that the battery is just fine, the battery is full, and once you power up your touchscreen, it'll realize that same thing. The battery is fine, battery is full, and it believes that all the sensors have a full battery. So again, make sure all your wires are cleaned up pretty good. And then, you know, there's a little lid that goes on this, the 2 gig take right here. And let me see. Hold on a sec. So that lid goes onto that, just like that, to cover it up. Protects all the terminals and all that, and then that's it. You guys are good to go.